Americans know where the fish are. Alrighty, so the next question is, can you eat carp sashimi? There's only one way to find out. We got a bit of soy sauce here, Lee Kum Kee, that's a good brand, I like that one. Now we're going to just take a few slithers of this. I'm going to try that straight up as it is. It's not too bad. It actually doesn't have a muddy flavour, which is surprising. So, get a bit more of that. It's quite nice flesh, pink. It's firm. It's a bit like tei, which is Japanese for snapper sashimi. A little bit of soy sauce. In Japan they eat tons of sashimi, tons of different types of raw fish. Not just salmon. Salmon, snapper, mackerel, bonito, tuna. I'll tell you what, with a little bit of soy sauce, if I put that into a sushi maki roll for you, I made some sushi, you wouldn't know the difference. It's actually better raw than it is as NUMMUS. There's actually quite a few places in the fillets where there are not bones. There are a lot of bones, but there's big areas where there are no bones as well. Now, the question is, would you eat that? Serve that to you in a Japanese restaurant with a little bit of soy sauce, you wouldn't know the difference. So put a little bit of soy on there. Actually, try a bit just as it is first. Pink flesh. Quite firm. A little bit of soy. Tip the excess off the plate. And not bad at all. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you probably know that I speak Japanese. I lived in Japan for a long time, and I've eaten plenty of sashimi and sushi over there. And that is pretty good. I wouldn't complain about that at all. You just got to make sure you don't get the bits with the bones. And for those of you who think that I'm just going to chew it up and spit it out, that's not the case. Give me some more, I reckon. So there you go. Bit of a novelty at your next barbecue. Give your mates some carp sashimi, fresh from the river. It's quite interesting, it wasn't that long ago in Australia. If you said, oh, do you want to go out and try some sushi? 9 out of 10 people be like, oh, that's terrible, I wouldn't eat that shit, blah, blah, blah. Now look at it. Sushi train on every corner just about in the cities. Can't get enough of the stuff. The California roll was invented for Europeans basically. They put the seafood extender crap in there and then make sushi out of that for people who didn't want to eat raw fish. And now it's a bit of a worry actually what's going to happen environmentally when it comes to sashimi and the tuna trade. Hopefully. Be nice if we could all get them to eat carp instead, wouldn't it? Alrighty, so here's some fillet that I prepared a few days ago, and it's come out of the brine, and it's now what they call NUMMUS or pickled fish. If you've ever tried roll mops from Woolies or Coles, which is a pickled herring, it's very similar. So as we were saying before, the problem with the carp is there's a lot of bones in them. So that vinegar and lemon makes the bones go soft and you can actually eat it. The brown colours, that little bit of soy sauce that I've put in there as well, you can make it a quite white colour, but it's very soft. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's for sure. It is very soft. So what you want to do when you make your brine is you have your vinegar and then you add your lemon and your raw sugar to balance it out, so it's not really overpowering vinegar flavour. You can make it a little bit more lemony, and once again a little bit more sweeter if you add a little bit more raw sugar. Salt, soy sauce, a bit of chili pepper if you like spicy as well. There's a bunch of different ways you can make that brine, but basically your vinegar, your lemon, your salt and your raw sugar are your main 4 ingredients. And you'll put about 80%, 70-80% vinegar, and then you'll also add in your lemon juice, maybe 10%, and your salt and your sugar, and you'll have some lovely carp nummus. Now just make sure that you don't tell your mates it's carp before you feed it to them. Tell them afterwards, otherwise they probably won't want to try it. Lots of people out there say, oh, you can't eat carp and it's terrible. Ask them if they've actually tried before. 9 times out of 10 they'll say no. Okay, so we've got some nice select pieces here that I've tried not to eat as sashimi. Now, doesn't matter if there's bones in there, because what we're going to do now is make our brine. So what we want is a good Tupperware container, and first we're going to start by putting vinegar, white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, brown vinegar, whatever vinegar you want, enough to cover the fish at least. Now I want to put some lemon juice in there as well, probably about 20 or 30% lemon juice, so it's not too vinegary. We also want to add some raw sugar, 2 tablespoons of raw sugar in there. That will obviously dissolve. We also want to add some salt, just plain table salt. Probably use Himalaya rock salt if you wanted to, that'd be better, but we're just using the cheap Charlie salt today. So we want about a tablespoon of that salt, pump that in there. Also we want a bit of this Lee Kum Kee or Kikkoman soy sauce, about 2 tablespoons of that in there. And then if you like me, you can add a bit of chili as well. Now I really like this stuff, this Hoyt's chili powder. It's a bit, there's a cayenne pepper and there's a bird's eye one as well. A little bit of that in there, spice it up a bit. Now that would make it a little bit more of a brown colour, the flesh of the fish after a time. So if you want your fish to remain mainly a light white colour, don't add the soy sauce, maybe use white sugar, and probably don't add brown vinegar. So basically we've got our fish there and we just lay them in the brine. Now believe it or not, that'll start cooking straight away. The vinegar and the lemon cooks the fish, sears it, tenderises it as well, and it also tenderises those bones. So you can actually, well, we've seen that you can eat it straight off the fish, so that means you can eat it anytime you want pretty much, as long as it's kept at a temperature where it can't turn. That started cooking in there. It'll change colour as well. It'll go white, you'll see it turn white. You can eat that a few hours later if you like, the next day, 2 days later, 3 days later. If it's in a good sealed container, last in your fridge for months. So, but just as it is there like that, you can see it's already changing colour. It's not so see-through. That'll be very vinegary, but if you like salt and vinegar chips, it's all good. And the texture of the fish has already changed from what it was when it was raw. Pretty good. Pop our lid on there. Give it a bit of shake up. And then that goes in the fridge. Alrighty, there we go. That's how we make fish nummus, or carp mops I like to call them. Thanks for joining us here guys on Awesome Animals TV. Please share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And also make sure you share this video to mates who reckon you can't eat carp. Stay wild and I'll catch you next time.